To bring in Pennsylvania Congressman Charlie Dent right now. Congressman, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Hey, thanks, Maria. Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about tomorrow. Big night with the primary in Pennsylvania. Big number of delegates up for grabs. How do you see it playing out?
Well, right now, Donald Trump is polling ahead of both Governor Kasich and Ted Cruz. But I still firmly believe that Governor Kasich is going to do very well in the collar counties of Philadelphia, the Lehigh Valley, the Capital Region, and suburban Pittsburgh. So it's going to be a real fight here, no question about it. But remember, Pennsylvania has 54 unbound delegates out of 71. And so what these delegates decide is really what's going to matter. They're getting elected tomorrow, too. And many of them have said that they'll commit to a candidate. Others have said they're just going to listen to the will of the voters in their congressional district. So it's very much a fluid situation here in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, it's really an important point because we want to talk a bit about how the delegates are selected in Pennsylvania, because this morning we're having this debate about what we should think of Cruz and Kasich teaming up to try to take Trump down. Can you explain how the delegates are selected and what that might mean in the face of this new pushback from Trump's competitors?
Sure. The way the delegates are selected in Pennsylvania is this. There are 71 total delegates. 54 are elected, and those 54 are elected in the 18 congressional districts, 3 per district. 18 times 3 is 54, so 3 per district, and then the other 17 would be bound, 14 in particular, and then the other 3 are the 2 national committee people and the state Republican chairman. So that's the lay of the land, but those 54 are unbound. We will be the biggest block of unbound delegates at the convention. Now, there is certainly a Stop Trump movement. There's a Stop Trump movement, and you saw the 2 campaigns obviously are coordinating in New Mexico and in Oregon and Indiana. You know, because we all believe there's going to be an open convention, and if no candidate has 1,237 votes going into the convention, well, they don't have a majority, and you know, then the rules are the rules of the rules. You know, Dwight Eisenhower was not in first place going into his convention. He was second to Bob Taft. Of course, Abraham Lincoln was not in first place either. So this is going to be a wild convention.
Wow.
And there'll be some hurt feelings.
Here's John Hilsenrath from the Journal.
Can we talk a little bit more about this 54? It sounds, first of all, like you're saying they don't have to make any decision until they get to the convention. They don't have to walk into the convention declaring where they stand. Is that right?
That is correct. Although some of those who are running for delegate have declared their support for a candidate. Others have said they're simply going to follow the will of the people.
And then so when it comes time for people to go to the polls, they're going to be voting for a delegate, in some cases knowing where they stand, and in other cases not knowing where they stand. They're just voting for one individual over another?
That is correct. And all you see are the names of those candidates on the ballot. There's not a name of one of the presidential candidates by their name. It's just their name.
Donald Trump is going to say that this is rigged.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, that's absurd. This is how Pennsylvania's elected delegates since I can remember. We played an outsized role in the convention in 1976 when Gerald Ford defeated Ronald Reagan. But to say that it is rigged is just absurd. That's just the comment of a candidate who doesn't want to play by the rules.
Do you think this is a good idea, what Cruz and Kasich are doing? Basically coming up with a strategy, like, you know, Cruz is going to, you know, do what he needs to do in Indiana, and Kasich will take a step back, and ditto for Oregon with Kasich taking the lead there.
I think it's a smart step.
You do?
I really do. But one of the reasons I'm supporting Governor Kasich is because if there's going to be an alternative to Donald Trump, it has to be someone who is electable, and I believe that is John Kasich and not Ted Cruz.
And he keeps coming up in the polls. Arthur Aidala is here. Arthur, you're an expert in the law and Constitution. What do you think about this?
Well, I don't think that what they're doing is illegal. I mean, as Donald Trump put out in his statement at 1 a.m. in the morning, there may be in industries where it could be illegal. But here, basically, they're saying, you know, in this state where you got a shot, Cruz, I'm going to lay back. And in that state where you have a shot, you lay back. But is it too little too late? In other words, let's talk about reality. Yes, I understand the congressman says he thinks that John Kasich is going to put on a good show there.
He's the only one to be heard.
But is it a good enough show to overcome what has been the Donald Trump machine? I doubt it.
You know, to be seen, but I have a quick question for the congressman. You know, you mentioned the 1976 convention. What can we expect to happen if Donald Trump does not actually have enough votes, enough delegate votes, and he does show up at the convention? What are the procedures? What can we expect out of it?
Well, after the first ballot, clearly a number of these delegates will become unbound. And where they go, remains to be seen. And
that tells me John Kasich has a good shot. Then that tells me John Kasich has a shot.
Sure. I mean, because on the first ballot, if no one receives 1,237 votes, I kind of find it hard that a lot of these Ted Cruz people are going to jump over to Donald Trump after all the comments that Donald has made about the senator. John Kasich, by staying above the mud fight, I think is in a better position to secure delegates on the succeeding
But what if
ballot.
Trump is close? What if Trump is 1150? Can you deny the guy when he's that close?
No, but he'll get Marco Rubio to give him some of his. Don't forget, there's still other folks floating around there with delegates.
That's true too, right,
you want to be vice president, you want to be secretary of state, you want to be ambassador to wherever. Give me those. I mean, and the difference between the 70s and today is the social media aspect.
Yeah.
There's no more behind closed doors. The doors are never closed.
Yeah.
So the American people are going to know what's going on through Twitter and Facebook and everything else.
Sounds like that's what you want, Congressman. Let it be open.
What I want is, what I would like to see the delegates do is this. Their job should be to nominate the candidate of best character who has the best chance of defeating Hillary Clinton in November.
Right.
And if they come to that conclusion, John Kasich should be the candidate for president.
Yep.
I mean, that's my simple view. For Donald Trump to say that everything is rigged is simply absurd. That he calls this collusion. This is just they committed an act of politics.
Right.
I mean, you just got to grow up and get used to it.
Yeah. Congressman, real quick, we know the economy is the #1 issue for folks out there today. How would you characterize the economy in Pennsylvania? What's going to drive voters Tuesday night?
Yeah, I believe the economy is usually what drives voters. But I'll tell you, the economy, while it's been growing and we've seen better employment numbers, there's still a lot of angst and uneasiness. The rates of growth are simply subpar. And I think that's really what's driving this lack of wage growth. Until we see a more robust growth in the economy, there's not going to be that wage growth. And I believe that the lack of wage growth is really what's driving so much of the anger in the country, both on the Republican side and certainly on the Democratic side, as manifested through Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, great analysis there. Congressman, good to have you on the program this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Maria.
We'll be watching the primary tomorrow night. Congressman Charlie Dent joining us. And make sure to